My name's Christopher. I'm a co-founder and CTO at Verge Aero.
My name is Tony Samaritano. I'm a co-founder of Verge Aero, and we are here in Philadelphia to celebrate the Eagles prior to the NFC Championship game. We're downtown. There's tons of people. It's really cool, but there's a lot that needs to go into that in order for us to operate safely. That's one of the things that's so unique to the Verge system, is that vertical integration. Super tight software integration all the way from the design down to the actual hardware itself. Even though that's really difficult to do from an engineering perspective, it's worth it because every single stage there's been checks and everything's tightly integrated into the system in order to guarantee that level of safety that you just can't get if you're working with a bunch of different manufacturers. What we ended up doing is separating these two systems that are on board the one drone. They're constantly checking each other. We have the flight controller and the flight control software. That software needs to run perfect. We rarely ever change that, and we test it like crazy. Then we have our other system that's completely decoupled. And that system, we're able to really iterate quickly and add new features, but do it in a safe way. Because if any one of those new features were to fail, it falls back to the flight controller and the flight controller lands safely. It has full control of the system. If the flight controller identifies that there's a sensor issue, it's going to land. And then if anything is wrong on the flight controller, the companion computer will detect that and not even allow the drone to start spinning its rotors.
There are redundant systems across the board.
The first and most important thing in aviation is redundancy.
We actually have 3 separate radios that are operating at once. If one of those links go down, it doesn't matter. The show can continue on. The drone platform itself is fit with multiple IMUs, sensors that tell it how it's oriented, which direction it's going.
Any one of those inertial measurement units were to fail, it fails over to the other one. And then because we have 3 sets of inertial measurement units, we can actually have a variety of different what are called estimators. And those estimators are how the drone knows where it is on the planet. And any one of those estimators can also fail, but that's okay because it falls back to the other estimators. And even in that scenario, the drone will just immediately auto land very safely within the safety zone.
We have redundant geofences. One of the big things that we do that's different is that we have a bubble that's maintained around every drone at all times, and that bubble moves. If the drone shifts a little too far out of that bubble, it'll land right away. Other people actually have this geofence that goes all the way around the entire show area. And so no action could be taken until the drone is on the very edge of where it's safe. That bubble geofence means that we fail safe as early as possible. With the Verge Aero system, we have courses that pilots can take. We have certification. We teach people safe practices, tons of documentation that's available. All of that stuff falls under our training that we provide. When working with hundreds or even thousands of devices, and I'm not just talking about drones, I'm talking about ground equipment, I'm talking about applications, it's really difficult to make sure everything's on the right version of the software. The ground control software can download the latest version directly from the internet, and it can make sure every component in your system is up to date. That goes from the network gateway to the drone to the ground station server, everything.
If we ever find a problem that we need to fix, we can just push that out to our entire fleet, and we have full control over everything. So we don't have to worry about weird software or hardware integration problems when we're pushing out safety critical features. Something that we have uniquely done is built a design studio meant for drone shows from the ground up.
When a show is designed with our software, there's actually simulations that take place. Those simulations make sure drones don't get too close to each other, go too fast, or operate beyond the drone's physical capabilities.
We can simulate every single flight prior to the drone ever even coming out to site. Gives you a lot of confidence in the system. Because now as a pilot, I don't need to double check to make sure every single position throughout the entire show, no 2 drones cross. I just know that if it comes from the design studio, it's guaranteed that no 2 points will ever cross each other.
The designer can design their show, they hit a button, and whatever comes out is safe to fly.
So other systems do have a return to home feature, but the problem is if you were to say all drones return home, you can't guarantee that those 2 drones don't hit each other on the way back. Now with our system, what we've ended up doing is baking these different flight paths into the actual show file itself. So you can press that button emergency return home, the drones receive that signal, and at the next checkpoint, all of your drones are going to come right back to where they started, and they're not going to run into each other in the process. We actually had 2 drones that auto-landed well within the safe distance, just went straight down, did exactly what they were supposed to do because they identified an issue. It didn't take away from the show at all. The show is still fantastic. QR code worked at the end. Those are the types of things that you want. You want a system to behave reliably and predictably, even if it is like a drone bailing out of a show early. That is okay because that's safe, and that's what you want to do. The thing is, it's a brand new industry. And the things that jeopardize this industry are safety related. I want everybody to know that in order to make this really amazing new art form actually grow, we need to focus on safety. What Verge has built from the ground up with safety in mind versus what competitors have, where some just don't meet basic safety standards. If you have a drone that only has one sensor, and if that sensor fails, it flies off, that's really bad. So what we've done at every single step is made sure that you don't have a failure that can cascade all the way from the top down to a drone flying away.
We are taking the slow, steady approach to building out drone show systems. We're not cutting corners, and we want to make sure that this industry grows well into the future and that the United States can be a leader in that.